listening to Community Forum on KCCC 930 AM, sponsored by Eddy County, honoring God, country, and family, thriving with industry since 1889.
Thank you for listening to Community Forum. My name is Johnny Chandler. I'm the owner of KCCC 930 AM and the host of Community Forum. With me today for the second time is going to be Jerry Bryan. Jerry Bryan is the inaugural oil and gas faculty member here at Southeast New Mexico College, working on building programs and education that's going to help the industries that are in Eddy County. And for the first time ever, I'm proud to welcome Kevin Phillips. Kevin Phillips is the owner of Penasco Services. And I don't know what Penasco Services does, but that's what we're going to get into. How are you doing today, Kevin?
Doing good, and yourself?
Good. Glad you're here. Scene setter. We're on the radio, folks, but what we're doing, we are sitting right now in Southeast New Mexico College's brand new state-of-the-art 3D simulator lab, I guess is the way to say it. We have I think a dozen different simulators in here, walk around, virtual reality. We've got a lot of stuff. So we're going to start with Kevin Phillips telling us about himself, his commitment to Eddy County, the industries that Penasco Services, and then we're going to get into how we think this new simulator lab at SENMC might be able to help the industries in Eddy County. So Kevin, I'd like to start with you, and why don't you give us an idea, a little bit about your history in Carlsbad? Were you born and raised? Did you move here? What inspired you to start a business? Go ahead and get started on that.
Yes, I was born and raised here in Carlsbad and grew up in the oil and gas industry. Been in it since 2005, I believe, 2004. We got our own family-ran business going about 11 years ago, and we kind of specialize in lease operators. We supply to a lot of the oil companies around here and hot shot services. So with this CDL simulator stuff they have going at the college, it's a pretty big deal because that's one of the things we're starving for is qualified CDL drivers and lease operators. Hopefully we get a program up here going for lease operators and go the right direction for us.
Kevin, tell us a little bit about some of the challenges that you have with Penasco Services and finding hardworking people to work for you.
That's our biggest challenge right now. Finding the work's not hard. It's finding the employees to help you take care of that. So, especially CDL drivers. That's how many?
I mean, without having exact numbers and not knowing exactly what questions I was going to ask you, can you tell me typically, like maybe how many guys or women, of course, or the percentage of employees you might be down at any given time?
Well, I can say this: we're constantly trying to fill positions on the lease operator and truck driving side. So we don't have a whole lot of applications to pick through, especially on CDL drivers.
So you're basically, if somebody comes in and they have the basic qualification, you're trying to support them to get onto the team.
Yes.
Okay. So some of the basic qualifications, if you want to be a CDL driver or lease operator, for everybody listening, is going to be no drugs, by the way, folks. I mean, I'm sorry, we got to tell young people that. The state of New Mexico is telling everybody that it's okay to smoke pot, right? But it is not okay to do that if you were going to be in one of these industries. Yes. So that's very important for everybody to remember. What are some of the challenges that you face with the lack of applications? I mean, so are we lacking training, skills? What type of skills should somebody have before they even walk to your front door to get a job?
Well, truthfully, they just need a Class A CDL with a good driving record. As far as experience goes, we train. But that's if you do have experience, that's just a plus for sure. But yeah, we're just trying to get people with Class A CDLs that can pass the drug test and have a good driving record.
Right. So what would you say is Class A CDL employee walks in the door, clean driving record, can pass the drug test? What are you starting at hourly wise?
Anywhere from 23 to 30 an hour.
All right, and that is pretty spectacular, especially if somebody came right out of high school, got that CDL, and is ready to get to work. That's really good stuff. I mean, I'm pretty impressed by that. So Jerry Bryan, as we said, is the inaugural oil and gas faculty member. How do you know Kevin?
Well, one of the things that we do is we raise show lambs, and Kevin and his family, we met them via the show lamb business, and so they've showed our lambs for several years, and so we got to be good friends during the process, and so became familiar with what he was doing and how he worked in the community and supported the oil and gas industry. And so when I was hired to come over here, obviously my task was to try to identify the needs in the industry and to be able to try to promote the oil and gas industry and then form an alliance and find out what the challenges are and find somebody from each segment within the industry that can come in and be on our advisory board, our council here for the oil and gas technology program. So it will give us insight.
And Kevin's on the advisory
And
board?
Kevin was our very first person
Okay,
that I
excellent.
was able to bring on board, and he was more than happy because he was experiencing challenges with lease operators and things of that nature. And so we've had the opportunity to have discussions with the college president and look at challenges and try to formulate things that we can do moving forward to try to meet the needs that he faces so that we can help produce the right type of workforce people that he needs to make it work.
Right. So two of the things that Kevin identified for us right off the bat is you need CDL, Class A CDL drivers for sure, but you also need lease operators. So the good news about that here at Southeast New Mexico College is we do have a CDL program that people can sign up for. We're working on creating an evenings and weekend CDL program as well because we know how important that is for employees that may already be on staff. But a side note for that, for anybody listening, grandma, if your grandson needs a job, right, and you're listening to this, our CDL program at Southeast New Mexico College is 100% free, 100% covered. All the tuition is. So that's something real important to know, that SENMC is very dedicated to helping train those people and individuals in the community. And you can do it for free right now. All you got to do is spend some time on that. So Jerry, I think the CDL program is great. Just go to senmc.edu. We're working with two companies. We're working with Phoenix Trucking Company. We're also working with the Artesia Truck Driving School as well. So we have lots of opportunities for individuals to get their CDL. And if you want to make $100,000 a year without much of an education, that's the way to go. I mean, no question about it. Now, tell me a little bit, Jerry, about the lease operator, because I know that Kevin says we need lease operators. I don't understand 100% what a lease operator is, not being involved in the oil and gas industry. So tell us a little bit about what lease operator is and why is that position so important. And then, Kevin, you can chime in anytime you want on this as well.
I I have worked as a lease operator for Conoco in times past, and but that was a long time ago, and things are changing in the industry. Obviously, it all depends on the way things are drilled and whether it's remotely operated nowadays, or if we have what we call conventional wells that were drilled vertically. And when we look at the market right now, there's, and I don't have a count on this, but from the oil and gas industry has just started drilling non-conventional wells, which is horizontal wells, over the last 10 to 15 years, más o menos. But all prior to that, it was all straight vertical wells, what we call conventional wells. And so a lot of those tank batteries and those wells, have various levels of production at this time because they're a declining resource. And so, so I guess we would call it old school.
Yeah.
All right. Old school production methods and a way of recovering all the fluids from the reservoirs and the equipment in place to be able to separate the water and the gas and the oil from each other, and to be able to make them marketable and to be able to be regulatory compliant in the process, but having the people that know how to go out there and deal with those and take the measurements, the fluids, get all the data that's needed to be able to get it through a LAC unit and put it online and sell the crude oil and or the gas. And so we're depending on that. That's what's really happening there, but things have changed right now. And so there's a need, I'm thinking, and Kevin, join in and help me out here, but I think, isn't there a need to be able to train lease operators to deal with because the majority of the wells, as I see it right now, number-wise throughout the Permian Basin, there's more conventional wells still than there is
horizontal wells at this time?
Wells. Is that right?
Oh, yeah, for sure. And it changes every year. When I started pumping as a lease operator years ago, you're right. There's still a lot of conventional wells out there, but then there's a lot of horizontal drilling, huge batteries, tankless batteries. I mean, it's a whole different world out there right now. So it's a training program to get a head start on some of these men and women to get out there would be a huge success, especially here locally.
Right. I just want to remind everybody that everything we're doing here at Workforce and Community Education at SENMC, if you were to join one of our certificate programs, essentially is what it's going to be. It's going to be covered, right? It is going to be a free program because that's how important we know these individuals are. So, I mean, Kevin and or Jerry, are we short on like every single position in the oil and gas industry in the county? Is there a single like part of the oil and gas industry where we're fully staffed?
I'm going to say No, we're short-staffed everywhere.
Short staff everywhere, right? I mean, the county is just growing. Like, the census says we're like at 35,000 people or something, but we're easily pushing 70. You know what I mean? And it's growing like crazy. So it's pretty spectacular. I want to set the scene again for anybody listening. There's a little bit of background noise. That's because we are in the new simulator lab here at SENMC. We've got a bunch of people here in the corner really excited playing on some simulators. On the other front, Kevin, I wanted to talk to you. You are a CDL, Class A CDL?
Yes.
Okay, so you've driven trucks for how long, semi-truck?
I drove trucks for a while right out of high school. We own a bunch of trucks. I don't drive daily, but
Yeah.
when there's a need, I'm in the truck. So I've been around them for a long time.
Well, so now that you're the owner, right, and you're working your way up to the owner, do you cherish the days when you just get to jump in a truck and haul something down to where you kind of get to shut out the ownership part of it?
For sure.
Yeah. It's fun to go back to that original position, you know what I mean, for a little while, but then it doesn't feel the same after 2 or 3 days. I did work my way up out of it. So you drove our new CDL simulator here for quite a while. And tell me a little bit about how you think, since it's just your first take, right? Just the first idea, you just drove it. Do you think that is going to be a good addition to training? Do you see some real value in the idea of a simulator versus just jumping in a truck?
No, for sure, especially fresh CDL drivers that don't have a whole lot of experience. It's pretty realistic on how it works, and I really enjoyed it. It catches you on every little flaw you make. So
Way more than in real life, huh?
yeah, way more. So I think it'll be very beneficial for sure.
But at least if you crash and burn here, you can live to tell the tale, right?
Exactly.
Yeah,
And you
that's
don't
true.
get a ticket, right?
No, you don't get a ticket. We should issue tickets. We should issue citations that have to be paid at the college so we can make a little more money. I was like, that's a $15 ticket, sir. So, and the weather conditions too. We were watching it. We're showing the weather conditions. We can change them on a dime, right? Which is probably how it works sometimes, especially here in the desert. It'd be nice and dry, and then it's raining, and then it's dry again. Then it's snow. So, did you feel that the weather felt pretty accurate compared to? Did you feel any slippage on the tires or anything when it got snowing?
Yeah, if you pay attention to your RPMs and stuff, it does kind of slip, and it's pretty realistic on how everything works on there. And the traffic, cars pulling out in front of you, it's pretty realistic.
Yeah, I thought it looked pretty neat. I haven't even tried it yet, but it looked really great.
Well, let me ask you a question. You've been through CDL training. Do you ever get to train on a truck that's fully loaded?
No.
Okay, good point. Because when you were driving the simulator, you were driving a truck that was fully loaded, completely balanced, of course, but fully loaded. And do CDL drivers at all learn with a load, or are they just always without one?
I'm not sure how a lot of the schools work, but the ones I've been to, no, they're just the same. They got a flatbed and a tanker, or just a flatbed empty. So
I mean, imagine the time to just load up a truck. But I mean, so this is an aspect where you can get realistic on, because the driving, I mean, I've not ever driven a semi truck, but I will tell you that even being in a regular vehicle behind a loaded semi truck is a different feeling just being behind them. Right, because when they're light, you can tell, and you're like, okay, I don't need to pass this person. But when they're real heavy, you know that's going to take a long time for them to get going. So I think that could make a big difference.
Well, Kevin, let me ask you this: what do you do if you have somebody coming in and the only expertise is with an unloaded tractor trailer rig, and let's say you have some equipment that you need to haul? Do you just turn them loose on that, or what do you have to do?
Right.
Well, with this facility set up, it'd be nice to put them in a simulator with a loaded truck. For sure.
Just to get the feel. But so when you get a new CDL driver that was trained without any load at all, do you guys have to do additional training to get them comfortable to take those loads out, or are you just feeling pretty good?
I'll usually put them with one of our top drivers.
Right.
Until they feel comfortable, they're good enough to handle that.
So I think that when you're in real life driving a full load, you're probably going to want that mentorship a little bit for a couple times. But I wonder if the simulator can cut down that time a little bit. You know what I mean? With the two drivers, you can save yourself a day potentially salary and get them split up working.
How long do you have to train them extra?
It just depends on the driver, actually. But usually less than a week of getting hands-on experience is kind of where we're at.
Okay, about less than a week. So you wouldn't, I mean, for your company, right, the idea is I'm a business owner, you're a business owner, Jerry Bryan's been a business owner, right? Every time you got two people in a truck, that's costing you money, right?
Exactly.
So you want to try to save as much money as you can. Then you can pay your employees better. You can hire another employee hypothetically. So cutting down that time. What would you like to see that time to be? Just brainstorming Like you get a new driver, he's got some experience on a simulator with a heavy load. You know, we do like what 2 or 3 days to get them out there on their own. Would that be pushing it? You think, or would that be comfortable?
I think that'd be comfortable. Again, depends on the person.
Yeah.
But I think I'd be comfortable with that because truthfully, you learn more when you're by yourself and making small mistakes.
Right.
So a couple of days with somebody else after going through a simulator, I think that's going to tell you what kind of driver he or she is.
So do you think that reduces the risk to the community by going that way?
Oh, I agree. I think
I hope
it does.
so.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I think that the first time behind a semi truck on the roads with real traffic is probably a pretty terrifying thing at first.
Yes, for sure.
So how about you? You were 18, probably driving a semi truck. How did that feel first time floating around?
It was pretty nerve wracking for a while. And like I said, after about 2 or 3 days, I got used to it. You get used to the truck and you just kind of go with it. So that's some of the biggest hurdles we've had with some of our new young drivers.
Yeah.
They don't want to drive through Carlsbad by themselves.
Sure.
And that's one of the first tests we give them.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, as soon as you do it and finally get through it, you've accomplished that, and then you start getting more comfortable with traffic and stuff.
I mean, I know we have 2 bypasses now around the city, but still, there's a lot of semi trucks that run through it, and then that's a good experience because Carlsbad is very, even though we're technically a small community, the traffic that we have on 285 is a lot.
It's a lot.
Right. That mimics almost any other major road in a large city. How much traffic would come through? Because, you know, I'm not saying this to be negative, but Carlsbad's one of those one road towns. Right, Roswell's a one road town. Right, you got to go through the middle of the road, the middle of the town to get to it. You're 55 on the outskirts, 25 in the middle, right, and then you get bigger. So I just think that these one road towns, which we are, end up being really congested on the roadway, and so it's probably a good test in my opinion.
So do your drivers get to drive in a lot of snow and icy conditions?
About once every 5 years.
Yeah, it's like not all that much. I think we had a few flurries the other day, and that's about it for the whole winter.
But they could drive it on, they could do it here, right? They could drive through snow and rain and ice here without.
We got blowing dirt and zero visibility, so.
Yeah, all the time. So, Kevin, you're very dedicated to the community. You're on the Eddy County Fair Board, correct? You're on our advisory board and things of that nature. Why don't you just tell us a little bit about your passion for Carlsbad and Eddy County? You probably easily could have gone anywhere, but you're staying here because you love the place, obviously. So go ahead and just share that passion with the community.
Well, there's a lot of opportunity here in Carlsbad, Eddy County, Lee County. There's just so much work over here, and it's just I don't even know where to start, but it just keeps you so busy. There's opportunity to make a lot of money here. I just hope we get a lot of people to see that and try to pursue their career in the oil and gas industry or truck driving and have fun.
Right. Well, I'll tell you, Carlsbad is building for the future. I mean, we do know that we have housing issues, we've got child care issues, plenty of issues than any other community has. But we're planning a 500 house affordable housing community coming up. There's new stuff going on down south with Carlson Ranch. So there's more houses coming in. Housing will get more affordable over time. And so we're building for the future. So don't think that you come down here and you see the price of houses or the price of rent when you're trying to get a new job. Don't be scared by that because it's all going to be coming down eventually anyways, in my opinion. So we are building for the future. We're doing the best that we can, but we do have a long way to go. We get so inundated so quickly with individuals that it's really difficult to catch up. Jerry, we got just a few minutes left. Jerry, is there anything else you want to add?
Well, yeah. You know, one of the challenges that we are facing is we have our aquifers are declining assets.
Yeah.
And they're being depleted. And so whenever we have a lot of growth, then it's important to have a good water supply. And that's the reason that we are involved in trying to help clean up produced water and find ways to be able to get that to where we can use that in New Mexico. And so there are some pilot projects that are coming online here in New Mexico and in Texas, and there's nothing but a need. That water shortage will continue to increase, and we have the opportunity to utilizing technology to be able to use this water for other things than just injecting it right down into a saltwater disposal well.
Even our very Democrat governor right now understands the importance of produced water.
It's very important, and water is life.
Yeah.
Without water, there's nothing. There's no economic development. There's no growth. It's just life. And so it's a very, very important thing to us, and we are involved in it. And as we see these things starting to come online, there's going to be more growth here in the area because of the other water treatment plants that will be coming into this area.
Right. I think that SENMC, Carlsbad, Eddy County is well positioned to kind of lead the state when it comes to produced water. Obviously, Lee County is pretty good position as well. I think we're in a position to lead that, and it's very important. It's a major component of the future of the industry.
Well, we are involved with the New Mexico Produced Water Research Consortium, and I've been a member of it for 3 years or so, a little over 3 years. And that's a very important emphasis and thrust that I'm pushing, and glad to be a part of it. And we are here at SENMC we take it very serious, and we want to do all we can to help support the community. And if we can provide the technology and to be able to be a player in the development of that and providing clean water and just in working with the technology to build that industry, then it's important to us because we're all about the workforce in the community.
Well, I would state, Kevin, I don't know what your experience was when this place was NMSU Carlsbad, or if you had any experience with it at all, but now that we are independent, this is not something that would happen if we were still with NMSU Carlsbad, right? Now that we're an independent institution serving the members of Eddy County, the simulator is possible, having you come in, helping try to train your workforce, get your workforce up to a level for free. That's not something that ever would have happened under NMSU Carlsbad. So I just say that so anybody that's listening understands how important it was for the community to get behind making SENMC an independent institution, and it's already, in my opinion, showing dividends, and we're just growing. So some of the other things we have in the simulator lab is we have a lot of VR headsets. You can do walk-arounds, we have forklifts, we have an underground continuous miner for the individuals at WIP or Mosaic or Intrepid. Right, we have a roof bolter for all of them as well. We've got semi trucks. You could drive a backhoe. We have all of those things. And the idea about the simulator cabs that we have is the cabs are actually built and designed to be identical to what the new employee will be sitting in when it's the actual real truck. So is the cab, Kevin, the cab that you drove now today, is that like almost identical to the cabs that your drivers will be in?
Yeah, it's a little different. That's kind of a highway truck, but everything was pretty close to the same. It felt real to me, so everything made sense to me in the simulator.
All right, well, we're just about out of time, Jerry. I appreciate you. Jerry Bryan, inaugural oil and gas faculty member here at Southeast New Mexico College. We are growing. It's going to be great. We have a new building coming online in a couple of years. That's designed specifically for trades. Kevin, why don't you close us out? Just let us know what your experience was and what you think about all this, and then we'll call it.
Well, there's a lot of technology going on up here right now, so it's going to make it a lot easier for anybody that wants the extra training to come up here and get it. It's all here. So
yeah, and remember, it is covered at this point. We got some money from the state to help train members of the industry, and even though our state government feels like they don't support our industry sometimes based on their lip service, they don't give a bunch of money to us to train individuals unless they know where the money comes from. The lip service for everybody else, but then behind the scenes, they put the money where it belongs. So I guess I'm giving them some credit. I don't know if I should, but that's all right. So Kevin Phillips, owner of Penasco Services, thanks for checking out the simulator lab for us. I'm glad you had a good time. I hope to see you and your employees out here a bunch. And then Jerry Bryan, thank you very much.
You're welcome. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
You're listening to Community Forum on KCCC 930 AM, sponsored by Eddy County, honoring God, country, and family, thriving with industry since 1889.